Hello students. Yesterday we had completed one part of the chapter of the necklace where we had seen how after getting an invitation and going to that party, Ma'am Loisel had lost her necklace which was borrowed from Madame Forestier, and both the husband and wife looked for it for a long time, but the husband could not find the necklace, and finally he declared that now they need to compensate for it. They would have to bring or buy something else and would have to give it, because even after contacting the cab offices, even after going through the same path and even after giving an advertisement in the newspaper offering a reward, they were not able to get the necklace. So finally we see that it felt as though they had lost everything in their life. And here we see that she waited all day in a state of bewilderment, in a state of confusion before this frightful disaster. Loisel returned in the evening, and the husband's face is pale, dull. He is disappointed. He had discovered nothing. Obviously, he was not able to find the necklace. He said, "Write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace." And we know very well that the clasp or the excuse for this clasp was for the reason so that they can get a little more time to arrange for it and to find it, so that you will have it repaired. So the reason here, or the excuse that you have to give, is that the clasp is broken and you will get it repaired. That will give us some time, she wrote as he dictated. At the end of a week, they had lost all hope. They kept on searching and searching, but finally all the hope are lost. And Loisel, older by 5 years, and can you see here, older by 5 years. When you are in grave tension, then that appears on your face, on your body, and you seem to age faster, declared. The husband declared that we must replace this jewel because we have borrowed. We need to, it is obviously our uh, responsibility to return it, and we need to bring some other jewel to replace it. In a shop of Palais Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds. That means a string of diamonds, which seemed to them exactly like the one they had lost. So it was quite similar to the necklace which they had lost. And it was valued at 40,000 francs. Can you imagine 40,000 francs? Such a huge amount of money. They could get it for 36,000, and even after bargain, that was the last amount that has to be paid, 36,000 francs. Loisel possessed 18,000 francs. Here it is said that Loisel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. So it was a part of his ancestral property, and he had 18,000 francs. Rest of the money he had to borrow. He made ruinous promises, promises that can ruin your life. Took money from usurers. Usurers are the money lenders and the whole race of lenders. And you know, money lenders, how harsh they are, and their terms and conditions are also quite ruining to your life. Then once you are trapped in with these money lenders, it becomes even more difficult for you to repay, and you keep on being stuck for throughout your life. Then he went to get the new necklace. Depositing on the merchant's counter, 36,000 francs. Finally, after making this whole sum of money, 18,000 plus the remaining 18,000, he borrowed from the race from many moneylenders and usurers. So finally, he's able to make it, and they bought the necklace, and it was returned. When Ma'am Loisel took back the jewel to Madame Forestier, the latter said to her in a frigid tone, "Obviously, if you don't return something for a long time, somebody would get irritated and annoyed. You should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them." So yes, a frigid tone, a harsh tone is heard by her, and she has to listen to it. Apart from all the problems that they have already faced, and still they are going to face in the future. And it was complemented by a harsh argument also. Madame Forestier did not open the jewel box as Ma'am Loisel feared. She was very much in fear that if she happens to see and notice that it was not her necklace which she had lended, then maybe she may be very furious on her. So it's good that the jewel box was not even opened by Madame Forestier, and she would. That what would she think if she should perceive the substitution? And when you are guilty, that guilt conscience does not allow you to stay calm and composed. And here also the same happens, that she what would she think if she should perceive the situation the substitution of the necklace? If she happens to sense that the necklace, her original necklace neck piece, was lost and it was some other one which has been substituted, she would be very annoyed. What should she say? And then maybe she may scold me. Would she take her for a robber? And though they are poor, but blame or accusation is always bad for somebody. So, especially the honest people. So, she may consider me to be a robber. Ma'am Loisel now knew the horrible life of necessity. We had already seen that she was so desperate to live a rich life, luxurious life, but she was very, very in hopeless about her house, the walls, the shabby walls, the worn out furniture, and she was dissatisfied with everything. In that life she was dissatisfied with everything. Now imagine she is not having even that much. She is even more in a poorer condition than that. Earlier she was still okay, she was able to make their ends meet and it was proper, but now the life has become very horrible. Now they are actually experiencing poverty and life of necessity, where you need things but you cannot afford. She did her part, however, completely, heroically. Though, however, they have done whatever is possible. First of all, they returned the necklace, and now they are struggling with their life. So it is a heroic way, but it was necessary to pay this frightful debt. Obviously, the debt that they have taken is very frightful. It is a huge amount and they need to pay it back. She would pay it. They sent away the maid. And what are now the changed lifestyles? What are the compromises now she is making in her life? Let's see. Just to repay the debt and to adapt to the new way of life where they can save far more money and could pay the debt, they have sent away the maid. First thing, they send away the maid. Now they cannot afford a maid. They changed their lodgings from a small house. Now they have come to a very, very small room in an attic. Attic is a small room in the upper part of the building. So they rented some rooms in an attic. So their lodgings, that means their dwellings have been changed. Okay, so they cannot now afford into that also. Now they are coming into more modest houses that are even worse. A attic is a room inside the roof of the building, that is an attic. So now we can see that they rented some room in an attic. So can you imagine how now she would be experiencing? Earlier also she was always uh, annoyed and dissatisfied. This is a worse time of her life now. She learned the odious work of a kitchen. Now she cannot afford to keep a maid, so now all the household chores are to be done by her herself. That means when we compare, we can understand that she was earlier in a better situation. But still, people who are not satisfied are always complaining. She washed the dishes. Now the utensils are also to be, the dishes are to be cleaned by her. She washed the soiled linen, the clothes, the soiled clothes, the linens, the dishcloths, all the clothes and all the soiled cloths, etc. Linen is also kind of cloth, are all that are required in the household are all to be washed by her, which she hung on the line to dry. And obviously there's no house help, so you need to line and hung on the line is the rope on which you dry your clothes, so that is also to be done by you. She took down the refuse to the street. The garbage is to be taken up by herself, and every morning she has to throw it and discard it each morning, and brought up the water. Even the water is to be brought up by her. So you can see how hard life has become for her, stopping at each landing. And when you need to bring water yourself, the vessels of water, yet these containers are heavy, so you need to stop because you may tire yourself, so you need to stop in between. So stopping at each landing to catch her breath. So you can understand how much panting how she is panting while she is doing this hard work in the household, and clothed like a woman of the people, like a very ordinary woman. Earlier she was still in a better state, but now she is completely ordinary. She went to the grocer's, the butcher's, and the fruiterer's with her basket on her arm. And now every job she has to do herself. If it is to go to a grocery shop, or to go to a butcher shop, or even to go to to get fruits also from a fruiterer. Everything she needs to do herself. Everything she needs to do herself. So we can see here that she is carrying her basket on her own arms, and now when she is going for shopping, she has to save each and every penny because they are already under debt, and now she has to handle this. She has to save money and she has to live her life properly. So remember that she is trying to save. They are struggling to save each and every penny, and that now she is able to understand what is the value of each and every coin. Sao is actually the lowest currency, that is, you can even consider it to be coins. The husband worked evenings. He is also doing extra work, putting the books of some merchants in order. This is one thing he does. And nights he often did copying at 5 sows a page. Even he is bringing some copying work and he is getting 5 sows or 5 coins a page, 5 currencies a page. And this life lasted for 10 years. 10 years are ruined from your life. Can you imagine 10 years of your youthful age are completely ruined? You become old and you have lost all the charm of your life, all the beauty. So what is left then? So a little bit of greed and a little bit of show off has actually uh, played a huge toll on the life of both of them. So you can understand how such kind of decisions of showing off and not being yourself may sometimes be very, very expensive to you. It could even ruin your life. And this life lasted for 10 years, 10 long years. At the end of 10 years, they had restored all. Restored what? The debt. All the money was repaid. But the money is repaid, but the time has been lost, the energy, the youthful years have been lost, the happiness has been lost that can never ever be regained. Ma'am Loisel seemed old now. After 10 years of hard work, now she appears to be very old. She had become a strong, hard woman. And you know, somebody who is, can you see a maid and the build of a maid and a rich lady or a normal lady? You will find a difference between them. One who is living a hard life, that sees, that appears even on the face, on the body. Your life or the pressures of life, the hardships of the life are reflected on the body, on the face. So here also she now appears to be a very strong and hard woman, a crude kind of a woman, a very normal, no charm in herself, her body, her face, and her hair are also badly dressed. She's not even taking care of her hair. They are just messy. Her skirts awry, and you can see that the nicely pressed dress is different, and then if you don't press they keep turning. So you can understand, you can just make out the difference from a well pressed, neat and tidy dress uh, worn by a nice charming person, and the other hand a dull and maybe shabby kind of a dress, awry and worn by somebody who is not even taking care of, could not even afford to take care of herself nicely. Her hands are now red. She spoke in a loud tone. Even uh, the sweetness of her tone and the beauty, the charm is lost. So she is now having a loud, harsh voice also, and washed the floor with large pails of water. And what she is doing, she is washing the floor with large pails of water. So buckets of water have been used here to wash the floor. But sometimes when her husband was at the office, she would seat herself before the window and think of that evening party of former times. And the only day that is left to remember is that ball party when she was the center of attraction and everybody admired and praised her a lot. So sometimes in the evenings she used to recollect this day when she enjoyed the evening party a lot, of that ball when she was so beautiful and so flattered. And she recollects with admiration that she looked very nice, very pretty, and everybody flattered her with praise. How would it have been if she had not lost the necklace? And she is thinking that how it could have been if the necklace had not been lost. You know, life would have been completely changed. It could have been much, much better. Maybe slowly and gradually they would have, with their hard work, at least raised their positions, improved a little, at least fulfilled their some of the dreams, at least could have been a little better, at least than this, a lot better than what exactly has happened. Who knows? Nobody actually can predict the future. How singular is life and how full of changes. Life is very unpredictable. Here we understand that in life, anything can happen. From a rich person, the other day you can become a poor person, or from a poor person, you can become a rich person. So, this is life. You never know what may happen, what something may go right or go wrong. How small a thing will ruin or save one. Even as small as a piece of necklace can ruin your life, or even a small thing can save your life. Even sometimes a gesture of a person, a nice, kind words of a person. If suppose a person is about to commit suicide, he is going to do that, and if you happen to just handhold him nicely with a lot of love and affection and care, maybe he may not do it. So his life can be saved even with your help, with your words of sympathy. So very small things can also matter a lot in your life. If somebody scolds you badly, you may become so discouraged that from a happy person you can become a depressed person. And even if somebody encourages you, from a depressed person you can become a very nice happy person. So small things in life can also mean a lot. Students, just try to revise this part, and we'll try to complete this chapter in the next session tomorrow.